after a week of rest, relax, recuperation, recharge, ice skating with the family, playing some soccer with my daughter. Shouts out to Mariah right there. Guess who's back in the chair? Talking your Bama football, yours truly has returned. Stephen Smith, touchdown. Alabama Magazine, the hottest show in these streets, is back on your YouTube, in my own words, with my man Eli, the Wonder Man Walker. We're bringing the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, you know what time it is. We haven't seen y'all in a week. Hit that subscribe button right now. Tap subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that little bell there. Tap subscribe. Get everybody you know. Every family member, friend, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Bama football. Get everybody to subscribe on the channel. Share the show as well to every platform you know. Hit that thumbs up button. Smash the like button. Get those likes up. Like the show. We appreciate the support there. Daily Super Chat go $100. Daily Super Chat go $100 right there. We appreciate all of you. So much news happened while we were out, Eli. And we're going to get to all of the news. We're going to get to that. Absolutely. But blow the phone lines up. We want to hear from all of you guys tonight. We haven't heard from y'all in a week. So hit those phone lines, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be made known here on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We want to hear from you. But Eli, let's get into the news here. Let's jump into it. First and foremost, before we talk any of the major news here, best wishes out here to all of the players that have found new homes for Alabama, that entered the NCAA transfer portal. Ja'Cory Brooks is now a part of the Louisville Cardinals, so wishing him the best there, Ja'Cory Brooks. And then also you have Anquin Barnes, who is now with the Colorado Buffaloes with Coach Prime Deion Sanders. So best wishes there to Ja'Cory Brooks and Anquin Barnes, continuing their careers elsewhere in college football. We are continuing to figure out, where does Thaiu Jones-Bell end up? Where does Isaiah Hastings end up? But best wishes there to Ja'Cory Brooks and Anquin Barnes. But we get into topic number one here of the conversation. And Eli, I'm going to tell you this. New Year's Day cannot get here fast enough. The trash talk has already started for the Rose Bowl, and it has started on the side of Michigan. It has started on the side of the maize and blue at the Rose Bowl between Jim Harbaugh and Nick Saban. The second time these two will go against each other, Coach Harbaugh and Nick Saban. Now, according to Vegas opened this thing up with Michigan being a 1.5 to 2 point favorite over Alabama. So Alabama entered this matchup already as the underdog in most eyes after taking on the number one team in Georgia in the SEC championship game, getting that win. Now it takes on the number one team in Michigan in the college football playoff, Pasadena, California, at the Rose Bowl. But the purpose of this topic is you're already seeing Michigan fans and one particular Michigan alum, former offensive lineman Taylor Lewan, already talking cash talk, already talking billboard material, already talking junk about how Michigan has nothing to worry about when it comes down to facing Alabama. And here's Taylor Lewan, and let me say this right here. I understand having high confidence in your program, having high confidence in your alma mater. You're supposed to be confident in the school you came from. You're supposed to be confident in the program that you played at. That's self-explanatory. But there's also a level of respect for the opponent that you need to have. I remember just last week, Eli, I was on Bama Standard, and there was T.M. Keenan III on the show, and the defensive lineman for Alabama, he showed Michigan all the respect. He said, hey, we're going to have, a competition on our hands. Michigan's a good team. They're well coached. They got playmakers. We're in for a good football game. Showing Michigan all the just due respect, right? Here is Taylor Lewan doing the exact opposite of that. He was on his show, the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, and Lewan, who played at Michigan from 2009 to 2013, offensive lineman, two-time Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. That was 2012 and 2013, two-time first-team All-American. That was 2012 and 2013. I believe he was also a three-time first-team All-Big Ten. He was selected in the first round, number 11 overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft by the Tennessee Titans. He spent about 9 years in the NFL with the Titans. But Taylor Lewan on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, here's what he said. He said, I remember when we played Alabama when they were good, when they were for real, when they were a dynasty. See the word were being used there? When they were a dynasty. And I was like, man, I hope we don't have to face that again. But then he says this, but y'all, I watched the film from the South Florida game. And I watched the film on these matchups. If you're a Michigan fan listening to this show, you have nothing to worry about. Why? We're tougher than they are. We're more physical than they are. We're top to bottom better than they are. We have better coaching than what they have. We're going to run 34 dive up there. Beep. We're going to handle them in the Rose Bowl. So basically, Taylor Lewan is saying, we're going to take Bama's manhood in the Rose Bowl. That's what he's saying. Better coach than Alabama. Even though Jim Harbaugh has missed half the season, and his season has been marred by a scandal known as sign stealing, Michigan's better coached than Alabama, according to Taylor Lewan. Michigan, top to bottom, better than Alabama. Though Michigan has not been tested all season, according to Taylor Lewan, top to bottom, Michigan better than Alabama. Michigan, tougher than Alabama, more physical than Alabama, gonna run power all night long on Alabama. This is Taylor Lewan now. This is the same guy that played against Alabama in the 2012 Cowboy Classic at Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, and Michigan got mollywopped 42-14 against Alabama that year. Denard Shoelace Robinson didn't know what to do. He got picked off by C.J. Mosley for a touchdown. But here is Taylor Lewan. Alabama, way beneath Michigan. Michigan's got nothing to worry about when it comes down to Alabama. Ooh, talking that cash talk. Taylor Lewan. And on top of that, he's even got a bet going with the Gump of Gumps. He's got a bet going with the biggest ambassador of Alabama football, Mark Ingram. He didn't put down a bet with Mark Ingram. He didn't put down a bet with Mark Ingram, y'all. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be real fun. He talking cash talk. Lewan is the Michigan fan base already poking at Coach Saban, and now Lewan puts down a bet with the 2009 Heisman Trophy winner in Mark Ingram. Here we go. Here we go, people. I'm gonna say this: Michigan has a huge task on its hands when you talk Jalen Milroe. They have not faced a dual threat quarterback like this. Ohio State was not even the same Ohio State they've been in years past. Kyle McCord is good, but he's not J.T. Barrett. He's not Cardale Jones. He's not Braxton Miller. He's not C.J. Stroud. He's not what Ohio State has been used to having at that quarterback position. And yes, Michigan got a small taste of a dual-threat quarterback when it took on Maryland facing Taulia Tagovailoa, but Taulia is not Milroe. This is a completely different can that Michigan is about to face here in the Rose Bowl. But Taylor Lewan, we're tougher than they are. We're more physical than they are. We're a better coach. We are top to bottom better than Alabama football. If you're a Michigan fan, you have nothing to worry about. Folks, we are about to see this. We're about to see this up front, up close, and personal, baby. We're about to see this right here. We're going to take our first break here on the show. I just want to get your chest warm as I got back on the chair. We're going to take our first break on the show. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we want to hear from y'all. Line us up. Give us your energy. We'll get to you guys right after this.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we're back, folks. We're back, rocking and rolling into the action from the break. Number 1 ticket for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, back this week after having last week to rest, but you can tell, definitely recharged here. Excited for the Rose Bowl. We got my man Bill from New York with an $8 donation, dropping that in the bucket there. Appreciate that from Bill. And then Dale B comes through. Dale B with the $10 donation. Thanks to Dale B for that daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily Super Chat Go. Appreciate that from you guys. We're going to go on the phone lines right now to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen. It's Daniel from Phoenix City. How are you, sir?
Daniel, I'm doing great, man. It's good to be back. It's fun to have a week where you can kind of recharge, but it's good to be back here.
Man, who are you telling? I didn't have anything last week. I had the Bama Standard some, but it's like, man, I miss Steven. But I'm glad you got the rest, man. But, you know, I haven't got to call in a few weeks, but I got a couple things. I kind of want to go back to the Georgia game for a second, if that's all right.
Sure,
I'm not
go
saying
ahead.
anything. I'm not saying anything anybody hasn't already said, but this should scare Michigan. The Georgia game wasn't even Jalen Milroe's greatest game ever. There were a lot of times there he seemed to struggle, and that should scare Michigan. Because Jalen Milroe, especially when he is on, that dude is just straight fire when he is on. And he still crushed it with Georgia.
Daniel, I agree with that. And Eli, you and I were at that game against Georgia, and Milroe had some throws that he missed that he knew he should have had. He had some decisions that he knew if I would have made those quicker, big plays could have happened. To be honest, and I've said this, Alabama could have blown Georgia out. They could have really blown Georgia out in that game in Atlanta. So for Milroe to still have 2 touchdown passes in that game, knowing that there were several big plays he still left there on the table, it should scare Michigan.
Absolutely. And, again, I'm very happy to see that he's coming back. I mean, I think we all kind of, for the most part, figured he'd come back, but I'm glad to actually he verbalized that. So that's going to be really good going in the next year, having some experience there. And another thing I was going to ask you about, I saw where Justin had spoke to Ryan Williams this past weekend. Do you think Ryan Williams is going to stick with that commitment, or do you think the barn stands a real chance at getting him?
I think Auburn fans, they're going crazy. They want him, but I do not see Ryan Williams flipping. He is all the way locked on to playing for the University of Alabama. This is a kid that he sees the track record of Nick Saban putting receivers in the first round of the NFL draft, starting with Julio Jones and as of recent, Jamison Williams. So Ryan Williams knows that. He sees that. He understands that. And especially with, Jalen Milroe coming back for next season, you're bringing in a 5-star guy in Julian Sayin for the future. Ryan sees that. He's intrigued by it. I don't think Auburn has a legit chance of flipping him. The fans want him badly, but I don't think Auburn flips him.
I feel like you're correct, but anyways, I just really would like to see him just come and just do well. I mean, especially with those other receivers we've got coming to with what we've got. And the last question, and this is where I see with all the talent coming in, especially at receivers, do you think we're going to lose any more receivers coming into this bowl season and after? And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you again, sir. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Daniel calling in from Phoenix City. As far as other guys leaving, I think that'll be best suited after the playoff. Then we can see where a lot of these guys stand after the playoff, and then most importantly, after spring practice. Right now, of course, Ja'Cory Brooks is gone. Thaiu Jones-Bell is gone. We kind of felt like that would happen. But in terms of other guys, I would look at after the college football playoff and then after spring ball to where a lot of these young men, they see where they are in relation to the depth chart. We can look at other guys that may potentially pursue of a transfer portal. But we grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? And state your name and where you calling from.
Steven, Bill from New York. I'm feeling good. We did it, didn't we? We beat those fools in Georgia.
Bill, I'm feeling I'm awesome right now, man. I was at the game in Atlanta. The score did not indicate the dominance that really took place there on the field. Proud of those guys. Proud of Jalen Milroe. Proud of Nick Saban and the coaching staff. They handled business.
It was just great. And by the way, this guy Lewan, I'm glad he made those comments. Good. Give Saban something to get the team fired up about. But for his own sake, I think somebody should tell him that crack and fentanyl are not his friends, because he's on drugs talking about they're gonna beat us by what? Come on, stop it. Who do they play all year long? Bunch of little kids. Big Ten supposed to be all this great. Yeah, they're great. No, they're not. We're great. And here's what we're gonna do. We're going to run Milroe's, like you said before, with the dual threat. He's got to run. He's so great at it. He's got to run, and once he does, the pass is wide open. Then we're going to start scoring on defense with my man Caleb Downs, who, by the way, led the team in tackles as a freshman. I mean, how often does that happen? You got to hear down here. I'm surprised you don't hear me in Alabama, Stephen. I'm down here in the den, and he's making plays, and I'm screaming, "That's my son!" And Diana's like, "Does he know?" And I said, "No, not yet." You know what I mean? And then she just goes upstairs. She don't want to hear it after a while. But I'm telling you, we're gonna crush this team. We're gonna run them off the field again. 2 defensive scores. You're going to see my man Caleb. He's forcing fumbles. He's going to pick people off. We're just going to do them, Steven. What do you think?
Bill, I look at this matchup, and I'm trying to figure out how does Michigan score enough points in this game? Because aside from the running back, Blake Corum, who's a great player, love Blake Corum, but aside from him, what else is there? Like, J.J. McCarthy's good. He's not crazy athletic. You turn loose Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell. It could be a very difficult time there for J.J. McCarthy. And like you mentioned, Michigan hasn't really been tested. Georgia wasn't tested until it faced Alabama, and it found out, okay, we got a score there, but Bama kept punching Georgia. Now, here's Michigan, who hasn't been tested all year. This was not the best Ohio State team they've played. What are they going to do when Bama punches them in the mouth?
And I don't think they match up against us well, to tell you the truth, in two ways: team speed and depth. You know what I mean? We have our linebackers. We probably have like 7 guys at least that I know of that are going to be in the pros, and we got the team speed. We got it all over the field. You know, our secondary. Oh my God! Well, I'm not even worried about Steve. I'm going to be relaxing. You know, well, as much as I can, but I'm saying I'm not too worried about this game. And I've taken enough of your time. Roll Tide, everybody on the chat. To you, everybody, Roll Tide forever.
Appreciate Bill from New York calling in right there to the show. Now, I'm not saying take Michigan lightly, because you shouldn't take Michigan lightly. And Alabama, Coach Saban's not doing that either. What I'm saying is you've got a lot of this cash trash talk going on right now, and a good portion of that, or the majority of that, is coming from the Michigan side. So if you're going to talk it up, you got to be prepared to back up what you're talking here. And when you look at Michigan, that hasn't really truly been tested all year against an Alabama team that it took a week 2 loss to Texas. Much of America wrote it off. Jalen Milroe and this team bonded together. They found a way to rip off huge wins. You go to the SEC championship game where everybody and their great-grandfather is saying that Bama's going to get boat raced by Georgia. Bama dominates Georgia. Dominates Georgia to the point where, Eli, I think there are 15 Georgia players in the transfer portal. Is that right? I think there's 15 Georgia players. The majority of these guys are 5 stars. They're in the transfer portal right now. Did Bama break them that bad that you got 15 dudes in the transfer portal right now, shortly following the SEC championship game? It's crazy. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, this is Corey calling from Trussville, Alabama. How you doing, Stephen?
Corey, I am doing well, getting myself prepared for the Christmas holidays coming up here in the next week or so. How are you, my man?
I'm doing great. I have a few points I want to run by you. Would you agree that Michigan can only beat us one way, while Alabama can beat Michigan several ways?
Corey, I agree with that. With Michigan, there's a template. Blake Corum has to have a monster game on the ground, or a good enough game on the ground to take something off of J.J. McCarthy for Michigan versus Alabama. Jalen Milroe, you want him to have his best game. He wants to have his best game. But I think if Jalen Milroe doesn't have his A-plus game, Alabama still has multiple ways they can go about beating the Wolverines.
Hypothetically speaking, looking forward, if we play Texas, or let's just say Texas, for example, what can Alabama learn from the past matchup? Because looking back, we couldn't block Texas's front seven, and their front seven is very good. That they have an SEC like front seven, and we couldn't lock down their receivers. What can we learn? And I know Alabama's a different team now, but what can we learn looking back at that game that says, okay, we have the confidence and the will to beat Texas this time if we do face them?
If it's Texas again, Corey, I think the one thing that Alabama's learned on the offensive line, number one, Jaden Roberts did not start on the offensive line that game against Texas week 2. He's a starter now, so you got way more physicality with him in there to deal with Texas's defensive front. And then also, I think Alabama's running backs, in particular, Jam Miller, has become a much better pass blocker now than early in the season. So now, if he has to take on a blitzing defensive end or a blitzing outside linebacker, or if he's working with a stunt blitz from an inside linebacker, or whatever Texas tries to do there with Pete Kowalski of a defensive coordinator, I think Jam Miller, from the running back standpoint, has a much better feel for pass blocking now than what he did week 2 earlier in the season. So having Jaden Roberts as a starter now, Jam Miller being better as a pass blocker, and I think more understanding from Tommy Rees's viewpoint to maybe keep a tight end back to protect as well. They've learned that.
Would you does it not really, I mean, I guess we want the revenge part, but does it really not matter to you who we face on the other side? Because I feel like we would match up either way pretty good. I mean, I know Steve Sarkisian's a great play caller. I mean, we saw that in Alabama, and with Washington, I always say this, Pac-12 line of scrimmage is the weakest of the Power 5. And yes, Michael Penix Jr. is a great quarterback, but they still have not seen SEC speed all year. So I just think that you get a second chance against Steve Sarkisian, which is very tough for Nick Saban, a team to beat Nick Saban twice in a season, and with SEC speed against Pac-12. I just feel like if Alabama gets past Michigan, I feel like it favors Alabama in both facing either Texas or Washington.
As much as it would be probably simpler, Corey, to an extent, Washington, me personally, I want the rematch between Bama and Texas. I want to play the best of the best. Give me Steve Sarkisian, great coach, great competitor. I want to play against that guy. I would want the rematch between Bama and Texas to kind of show that, hey, this is not the same Alabama team that faced you in week 2 at Bryant-Denny. But appreciate Corey there for that call. We're going to grab this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Mike from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing great, Michael. Doing wonderful, man. How are you feeling?
Man, been good. I took some time away, after Bama. I found out that Bama was going to be in the playoffs. Look, I'm taking some time away, come back. And I just want to say, man, it's great because I have been rooting for Bama to get in the playoffs. I was, kind of on the edge of my seat, nervous. Are they going to get in? Because they should. I do feel like that Michigan shouldn't be in. I think Florida State should have gotten in. But, the committees, how they want it. But I had a couple questions for you, Stephen. One is, like the last caller said, kind of who will you pick to kind of be in that final 2 championship game? Now, I know you said that you would pick Texas, but if I'm honest, I think I would love to see something Alabama and Washington. I mean, who doesn't want to see 2 great quarterbacks and Miro and Penix, the weapons on offense with Williams and McClellan and Miller, with Burton and Bond. Those guys are going up against Roma Doomsday and Jalen Polk and McMillan. Who doesn't want to see that matchup?
I mean, for people, Michael, that love offense, that would be fun. Watching Washington, Alabama, that would be fun. I'm just saying, for me, give me the 2 big-time head coaches, Nick Saban, Steve Sarkisian, student versus teacher part 2 in the same season. Here is Nick Saban saying, hey, Sark, you got me one time. I'm going to get you back on this one right here. That's kind of what I want to see. 2 marquee power brands that draw the big money going at it again.
And I have 2 more questions. One, did Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. commit to Alabama?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He is actually on campus helping Alabama for bowl prep for Michigan. Dre Jr. is here.
Good. I love his father was he was great. And then lastly, so next season, who do you believe? I'm not sure if Jermaine Burton is coming back, or I don't think he will. But seeing how well he played and how well it's Bond, do you see a particular player next season that will be able to back Bond and Prentice up? I look at a guy like Kendrick Law.
Kendrick Law will be a guy that can back up Bond and Prentice. I like Law. I like Jalen Hale. I think Jalen Hale will be in there. Kendrick Law will be in there. And I'll say this. If Ryan Williams hangs that commitment, signs with Alabama, I know according to our own Justin Smith, who covers our recruiting, does a great job. He's supposed to come in the summer. I think Ryan Williams is coming in the summer. If Ryan Williams gets on this campus and tears it up, he could be somebody number 3. But right now, just off the initial surface, I would look at Kendrick Law and Jalen Hale.
Thank you, Steve. Have a great day.
Appreciate my man Michael from South Carolina calling in here on a Monday. I mean, Eli, how old do we feel now? I mean, we remember watching Dre Kirkpatrick when he came as a player, and now his son's here. Like, I don't want to say that I feel old, but it's crazy. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling, state your name, and where you calling from.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay calling from Florence.
Here we go, man. Here my brother is. Jay, what's up?
Say it loud one time, Dave. Say the roll tide. Okay.
There we go.
Steve.
There we go.
Steve, my whole house. I've been talking so much smack, Steve. I've been talking so much smack, Steve. Because everything I said, I feel like it became true this year. I called you in the last year. I said, Steve, this is the most important year for Nick Saban right here, man. He got to put the respect back on it. Now, we ain't all the way put the respect and the fear back on it like we need to. That's what these next 2 games about. But we just made a whole lot of little sad, long lips out there, Steve, and I love it. I love it, man. Georgia, you should have won the SEC championship. Maybe Florida State would have got in. Y'all go take all that crybaby smack on with you because we in the playoffs. You feel me? Y'all over there losing 5 stars after 5-star, Georgia, because they see the real and they see that we got the mental game over you boys. You see what I'm saying? Mentally, we got your ass, George. We got college football in a chokehold right now, and you know this. And you scared of this. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know, Steve, man. How you been these last couple weeks, man?
I mean, Jay, I've been fantastic. I mean, to go to Atlanta, to be right there in the SEC championship, and to watch Alabama, because the score did not indicate the dominance that happened in that game. Alabama's offensive line was throwing Georgia players around. And Alabama's defense literally had 4 interceptions in its hands, couldn't complete it, but they had 4 picks. 2 of them should have been pick sixes. That game could have very well easily been a blowout. But you get the win. You get into the college football playoff. You got a chance to sign one of the most incredible high school talents at wide receiver, Ryan Williams. That kid's special. I've been fantastic, man.
Man, Steve, don't it feel good, man? I told y'all, man, this here the most important season. This here the one. And Nick, man, I know they lost the Texas Bama family. It looking so grim, but we in there, man. We in there. And I got Washington winning that Texas game. That's just me. I think I'm a fan of that little program. I mean, you know, I like what they got going on. I think they're going to expose Texas back in, but that's just me. But my score prediction, all that, I'm ready for all this, Steve. I got us winning 48-17, slapping all over Michigan. They ain't played nobody. Yes, they do got a defensive line, but, you know, they rotate a lot of guys on their D-line. But like you say, the way we moved around them Georgia boys, and we didn't even put together a good game that game, Steve. It took you to the 4th or 5th drive to even score the ball. You see what I'm saying? So, one, I'm still not high on Tommy Rees. You know what I'm saying? That's too long in the game for you to just be getting into it. We need to come out and score drive 1 like other teams do. But, hey, man, it feel good. Roll Tide. And talk y'all smack, Alabama. Talk your freaking smack and rub it in their face, because after week 2, you was done and over with. For 2 months, we had to hear, oh, Nick Saban in Alabama, you done. Well, guess what, baby? Guess what, baby? We in the playoffs, man. Roll Tide. I love y'all, man.
Jay from Florence. We're back on a Monday. We got a passionate Jay on the call-in queue. I'm back in this chair. Eli's back in the production. Eli, are you wearing the Lank hoodie today? Are you wearing the Lank hoodie? You're not? Oh, man. Eli is not wearing the Lank hoodie, but he is wearing the Bama colors, though, in the production studio. So we did get that from him. We did get that from Eli. We're going to continue with your calls here. We'll grab this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Tony J, man, out of San Antonio again. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, man. Doing well, man. I mean, I'm fantastic right here. I am prepared for the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. I'm ready for this.
I know that's right, man. I'm with you, man. As I watched that Georgia game, man, I'm with you, bro. We really could have blown them out. Those 4 dropped interceptions, 2 was a pick six. But like you said, we were blowing them off the line, man. And working hard is what Bama do. They're going to talk noise about Bama no matter what. I'm down here in Texas, man. I done turned Texas fans into Bama fan on my post, man. That's how much I believe in Bama and Nick Saban. No matter what, win or lose, we're going to come through. What do you think about that, brother?
Tony, I am ready for this Rose Bowl right here. There's been a lot of talk going on, especially most of it on the people in Vegas having Alabama as basically a 2-point underdog to Michigan. You got a Michigan alum saying that Bama's going to lose this game by double digits. So here's a Bama program that's completely bought into letting everybody know what's up. Letting everybody know like what's really going on and what's about to happen. I'm excited for this matchup.
You know what's funny? I was trying to find you that day. I was looking through on YouTube, and I did see that segment with that guy talking about Michigan has nothing to worry about. But the thing I tell you is they can keep us as a 2-point underdog, 7-point underdog, because at the end of the day, I'm with the caller that just left. I'm looking at a 48-17 win over Michigan, putting them back in their place like we normally do.
Appreciate my man Tony from San Antonio calling into the show on a Monday. We got some super chats to get to right quickly, so let's get to those. DJ Webb on the track, baby! DJ Webb, that $10 donation, showing love right there. And then we got Jay Clark putting in that $4.99, helping us out right there. And then hold on now, he ain't trying to be outdone. Is that Tobias? I think it is. With the 50, put him up, $50 donation right there, Tobias. Appreciate that. And we got Nona Davis. We got Nona who has strolled in here beautifully with the $10 donation. Appreciate that from Nona. All of you, making this your show, your spot here for all things Bama football. Before we hit the call topic, Eli, I gotta say this. Taylor Lewan mentioned I watched the South Florida tape. This ain't the same Bama team, bro, that faced South Florida. I don't know if you did not recognize that or if you recognize that and choose not to acknowledge it, which is disrespectful in itself. But this is not the same Alabama team that took on South Florida. This is a completely different team. This is a team that knows what it is, that's playing with incredible confidence right now. The coaching staff is on point. The players are on point. Jalen Milroe's on fire, even though he has even pulled out his best of his best game yet. And that's scary to even think about. That's really scary to even think about. A little bit of an update here, folks, before we get into the call topic. Coach Saban had his press conference tonight. He did give an update on running back Jace McClellan, the senior and junior defensive back Kool-Aid McKinstry. So the update on both of these two are as follows. Where Jace is concerned, with his foot. He's getting better. He's doing better. He's starting dry land running, but Saban says it's still too early to tell right now. So Jay's still kind of day-to-day. McClellan still sort of day-to-day at this point, but doing better. He is progressing, is starting dry land running as we speak, but still kind of too early to tell right now where Jace is concerned when you look at the upcoming Rose Bowl. Kool-Aid McKinstry's fine. He's out of concussion protocol. He's good. He's back in practice, 100% full go. So Kool-Aid's good. We're just waiting on Jace's progression there where his foot is concerned, still kind of day-to-day according to Coach Saban. But call topic right here goes to Alabama 5-star wide receiver commit Ryan Williams of Saraland High School in Alabama, who had an incredible junior year, became a Class 6A state champion for Saraland, was the MVP of the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game. He talked with our own Justin Smith, the director of scouting and recruiting for TDA, told Justin that he is still all the way locked in to Alabama football, even though Auburn fans went crazy at Auburn Arena on Sunday, basketball game between Auburn and USC, chanting, "We want Ryan, we want Ryan." I don't think Ryan Williams flips. I don't see it. I don't think Auburn has enough to sway Ryan Williams. With Jalen Milroe coming back to Alabama next season, you've got 5-star quarterback Julian Sayin already on campus helping out with bowl prep. Ryan Williams has seen Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jamison Williams, 8 wide receivers go in the first round of the NFL draft out of the University of Alabama. They're not going to flip this kid. I think Ryan Williams signs with the University of Alabama. I don't think he'll be an early enrollee. He'll sign, be on the campus. I don't think Auburn flips Ryan Williams. But we go to a break right here, folks. If you're still in the calling queue, hold on for the next 10 minutes. Or call back in the next 10 minutes. Definitely want to hear from you. When we come back, guys, we're going to get into an aspect of the Rose Bowl that no one's talking about. They look at the X's and O's, the matchups, that type of thing. But we're going to get into something that nobody has really brought up yet. We'll get into that after this. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh yeah, gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall. We also have new, fresh, exclusive TDA gear you can get right now at Alumni Hall. That's in store or online. Hit that link in the description and search Touchdown Alabama to view all of the available gear. Hurry and get yours before they're sold out.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, how we feeling? Lewan. We're back rocking and rolling to the action with you from the break. Number one ticket for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. We got 288 people in the chat. Smash the like button. Hit the like button. Hit that thumbs up right there. Tap the like button. We appreciate the support from you. Dale B has returned with $10 more in the donation pot there. Appreciate that from Dale B. That daily super chat goal of $100 has been met. Thanks to all of you, the Alabama football family. We made our return from a week-long break. Definitely missed you guys. Eli, I missed you as well. Did you miss me while you were out, Eli? Yeah, appreciate that. So missed all of you guys. But it's good to get that rest in, that recharge in. And as you can tell, definitely happy to be back on this platform right here. But topic 2 here, folks, of the conversation. For Alabama football, in preparing for the Rose Bowl, getting itself set for Michigan. I remember Nick Saban made a move back in 2020, the COVID year prior to the season. This was February of 2020. Saban made a move that shook some things up in college football when he decided to part ways from Scott Cochran to bring in David Ballou of Indiana. And a lot of people were like, what? That don't sound right. Cochran, yeah. Get your mind right, all of that. Good stuff right there. But Saban shook the game up. He shook the dice game up a little bit. And he decided to part ways from Cochran to bring in David Ballou. And Coach Ballou comes in with this whole thing of analytics and catapult system and data and having strategic individual workouts to fit the needs of every individual specific player. And it was not some cookie cutter thing, one size fits all like it was before. So Ballou was bringing in something new, something different. In 2020, his first year, Alabama wins the national championship, and you had little to no injuries that year at all. And so now this year, you look at what Ballou has done in terms of the toughness, the physicality of this team. This team has been tough, physical, flying around the field, making plays all season. You look at the defensive backs, they all look like they're over 200 pounds, out there hitting people like linebackers. You look at the offensive line, those guys big and physical, finally playing together, meshing well together. So Ballou has done a fantastic job, with this group. But the one aspect that people have not been talking about when you discuss the Rose Bowl is just the physical mindset this Alabama strength staff has this team in. People discuss matchups and who has the edge here, who has the edge there, different things where personnel is concerned. But this Alabama strength staff, the last 2 weeks, has had this Alabama team on one. They've got this group physically ready to go out there and handle the Wolverines. Coach Saban spoke Thursday of last week on the Pat McAfee show about this strength staff because Coach Saban's been out on the road recruiting. His assistant coaches have been on the road recruiting. So the only people that are in the facility working with these players the last 2 weeks has been the strength and conditioning staff, led by, of course, David Ballou. So Saban talks about, hey, he told Pat McAfee, our guys have been locked in these last 2 weeks. They've been physically in shape, mentally in shape. They're locked in. They're right where they need to be physically. They're right where they need to be mentally. They're right where they need to be in terms of getting ready for this Rose Bowl. And he highlighted Coach Ballou as Ballou has got these guys right. He's got these guys hooked, line, sinkered into, let's dominate right here in this weight room in terms of physicality. I'm pretty sure Coach Ballou has Taylor Lewan's message somewhere in that locker room. He's got it somewhere in that locker room, And he's telling players, you see that? You see what that? You see that right there? Let's go in. Let's get in this weight room and let's show them who's more physical, who's stronger, who's tougher, who's gonna really get this job done, and letting everybody know that Alabama is still that king of the block in terms of college football. So, wow, it was great to see what Scott Cochran did during his time at Alabama. And he'll always have a special place there in the hearts of a lot of the Bama faithful. Having David Ballou in here and seeing what he has done with these guys the last 2 weeks here as Bama back on the practice field, preparing for the Rose Bowl, getting the game plan for this matchup, having everything in order, taking on Michigan. David Ballou has done a bang-up good job, and he'll continue to do so. I'm looking forward to seeing this team on the offensive line, moving Michigan's defensive front off the football. I'm looking forward to seeing Alabama's defensive front playing in Michigan's backfield all game long. So kudos to Coach Ballou. He's doing his job, getting these Bama boys, these young men, strength, physically, mentally, everybody all into doing what they got to do here in this bowl prep. But we take another break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to those phone lines. We grabbing your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We're back to you after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whit Will Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwillsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We have rolled on back into the room, baby. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Monday. Happy to be back here on set with all of you. Continue hitting the like button, tapping the like button, hitting that subscribe button as well, sharing the show everywhere to all people that you know, getting them hooked on to nonstop Bama football coverage here. I think Eli's trying to show me something on. What you got for me there, Eli? Let me see what you got there on screen. Oh, there's nothing there. Okay, I thought something on screen there. But anyway, we're gonna go to the phone. We're gonna go to the phone lines. You grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. Number to call in. 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen, this is Mike out of Jacksonville. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Mike. Doing well, man. Getting myself even more prepared here for the Christmas holiday season and also the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day.
Stephen, I was, some people kind of overlook the Georgia game in a sense. We talked about the 4 missed possible interceptions, right? But nobody talked about when Kool-Aid went out because of a concussion. And that's when Georgia scored late in the game, the two touchdowns late in the game because they went right at their replacement. And so, if Kool-Aid was still in the game, I don't even think Georgia would have scored those 2 touchdowns.
That's good point. Good point.
Yeah. Nobody's talked about that. I'm looking at, I've been listening to Michigan talk a lot of trash, like you said. And, they were saying that pretty much that they understand. I mean, the true Michigan fans that understand X's and O's say, hey, look, Bama built to stop the run. So J.J. McCarthy is actually going to have to, they're going to have to come up with some plays. And Saban touched upon this tonight. They're going to be doing a lot of trick plays. So, and like Saban say, these guys just got to be focused and look for that, But I'm looking at their schedule right now. I don't know if you took a look. East Carolina was the first team. They beat them 30-3. UNLV was their next game, and this was in Ann Arbor, 35-7. Then they went to Bowling Green, also in Ann Arbor, 31-6. Rutgers, 31-7. Nebraska, 45-7. Minnesota, 52-10. Indiana, 52-7. Michigan State, 49-0. Purdue, 41-13. And then they went to Penn State. And then it was basically 24-15. I saw that game. That was a good game, by the way. Maryland, 31-24. That was a good game. Actually, Maryland was winning, and they lost it in the end. Ohio State, 30-24. And then Iowa, 26-0. So I know you touched upon all this already in regards to their schedule. And, we said this 1,000 times. They haven't seen a team yet. Just like we said about Georgia, you haven't ran into a defense yet that's going to hit you in your mouth. And so J.J. McCarthy is going to be on his butt. And so I'm looking at this game in the sense, they've got some guys up front, and they was bragging about how big they guys are, 300-pounders. But it's obviously that they haven't read the SEC news, because that's all we got up front is 300-pounders, And so quick on their feet, we got good linebackers, we got an elite secondary. And so, this game right here, to me, is going to be a good game. I think that in the first quarter, Alabama's going to field Michigan out. And then from that point, I think Alabama's going to start walking on them and just pull away from them. But the bottom line here is Jalen Milroe, like everybody's been talking about. And I don't really have a concern about Milroe. The only thing that I just want to see in him is his cognitive skills. In other words, how you process. You go down to check 1, check 2, check 3 on the wide receivers or tight ends and get the ball out quicker. That's the only knock I got on him. If he does that and then take the opportunity to open up, as the offensive line, open up the holes, just take what the defense gives you and run like I don't know what out of here. And so I look forward to seeing a good game. But all this trash talking they doing, man, they act like Alabama is a high school team. And like I said in my comments, basically you can sell wolf tickets all day long. And, you can talk the talk, but as soon as you get hit in the mouth, that's when you wake up. So that's all I wanted to say, though, So I'm looking forward to the game. And as always, man, you do a great job. And I look forward to your next shows coming up, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate Mike there calling in from Jacksonville. It's gonna be a good Rose Bowl. It's going to be a good Rose Bowl. My thing is going to be, as we've all have talked about, Jalen Milroe in a sense of his decision-making, the quickness of that decision-making, and then when he's given the easy money, when he's given the 10 to 15-yard throws, being able to make those consistently, timing, patience, putting the ball right there. That's going to be the big thing there. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. Well, we thought we had a call right there, but we're going to go to a cool call topic, actually. We discussed this one, Eli, but to go back through it one more time before I bring up something else, Jace McClellan and Kool-Aid McKinstry, Nick Saban updated both of these two today in his press conference. Kool-Aid McKinstry, who had to leave the SEC championship game early due to a concussion. He's fine. He's out of concussion protocol. He's all right. Of course, Jace McClellan dealing with, he's day-to-day, doing some dry land running now, getting better, but Coach Saban said it's still too early to tell where his foot is concerned. But now the main call topic here, so Coach Saban made a strategic chess hire here. The latest coaching hire. Bringing in George Hilo, 36-year-old, former Michigan linebackers coach, who is on the campus right now of the University of Alabama, helping the Crimson Tide prepare for the Rose Bowl. Coach Hilo was on Jim Harbaugh's staff 2021 and 2022 as the linebackers coach. He helped Michigan win 2 Big Ten championships. He helped the Wolverines produce 2 linebackers in each of those 2 seasons to record 100-plus tackles. Hilo also helped the likes of Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive line become a first-round draft pick. So George Higo's put in some work there where Michigan's concerned. And to have him in Tuscaloosa, this gives Saban another defensive mind in the room, but also a defensive mind that understands Jim Harbaugh and what he likes to do. Saban can poke Higo's brain. They can bounce some ideas off each other to better prepare for this matchup against the Wolverines. Now, of course, I know a lot of you as Bama Nation is saying, please lock down all the practices. We don't want the sign stealing and all of that. I know that's what a lot of you guys are saying right now. But this was a strategic move here by Coach Saban, bringing in former Michigan linebacker coach George Hilo to help out here with this game prep. But we take our final break on the show. On Touch That Dab. When we get back, we have a final discussion on why was it important for this former 4-star offensive lineman for Alabama to pull his name out of the transfer portal. We'll wrap things up with that after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama, and you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
All right, folks, we're back, rocking and rolling to the action from the break. Wrapping things up, hottest show on the streets, number one form for Bama. Football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, TDA. Happy to be back in this chair after getting a good week off there. A little bit of an update here before we get into the final discussion. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles playing against the Seattle Seahawks tonight. Hurts went 5 for 5 on his first drive. I believe it ended with a touchdown there. Hurts, who battled flu-like symptoms Thursday of last week leading into today, but said he would push through and play in this game. He's out there playing for the Eagles right now. The Eagles 10-3 on the year. They have a half-game lead in the losers column over the Dallas Cowboys, who are 10-4 for the NFC East division title. Now, if the Eagles are trying to get that first-round bye or that home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they're going to have to end up with a better record than the San Francisco 49ers, who are currently 11-3 right now. So you kind of need San Francisco to lose. If you're Philadelphia, you got to continue to win. That whole thing right there. But we get to the final topic of discussion, of conversation, Eli. One of the biggest pieces of news that happened during the time that we were out was Bama had an offensive lineman put his name in the transfer portal, and then the very next day pulled his name out of the transfer portal to remain with the Crimson Tide. That offensive lineman, none other than former 4-star Elijah Pritchett, who came in the 2021 class, 2021-2022. He came 2021 class, yeah. Came in that 2021 class out of Columbus, Georgia. And so Pritchett at 6'6", 312 pounds, He's played in 15 career games throughout his tenure so far, including 13 this season, sharing responsibility at left tackle with Caden Proctor. But Pritchett initially put his name, in the portal, and we're all thinking, he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to go to a different school, going to try to find, some playing time elsewhere. And then, and that happened Friday. And then Saturday, I wake up to no, Elijah Pritchett has reconsidered. He has rethought his process and withdrew his name from the portal. Now, some felt like, wait a minute, that NIL check didn't hit from Coach Saban. That NIL payment didn't hit. So some thought of it like that. And maybe NIL played a small role in it, maybe. But according to reports, Elijah Pritchett actually told, some media outlets that, transferring, not in my best interest, transferring, not my best move. I'm sorry for any inconvenience I may have caused. I'm staying at Alabama. I was locked in on the Crimson Tide, and he pulls his name out of the portal. My thing as to why he pulled his name out, I think Coach Saban or somebody told Elijah Pritchett, look, man, you got an opportunity here, and you really don't see it. I think that's what it was. I think somebody pulled Elijah to the side and said, brother, man, look, young buck, you got a shot to be the starting right tackle for Alabama next spring. You talk about J.C. Latham is projected to be a first-round draft pick after this year. Where does Latham go in the first round? That remains to be seen. But he's projected to be a first-round draft pick after the playoff, after the season. So you look at Caden Proctor would be your left tackle coming back. Elijah Pritchett would start spring as your right tackle. And if he dominates all spring, he would go into next season as your right tackle. So I think somebody pulled Elijah Pritchett over and said, man, before you make this move, think about it. You got a legit shot to be a starter coming up here in the upcoming spring at right tackle. And I think Elijah Pritchett, he sat down, he thought about that. It really began to sink in. And he's like, what the world am I doing putting myself in the portal? I got a shot to possibly start. No. And so, and that has him pull his name out, reconsider some things, remain locked into Alabama, and you look at coming up here next spring, going to have a shot here to start at that right tackle position. Or even if Alabama was to flip and have Caden Proctor at right tackle and Elijah Pritchett at left tackle, wait. Pritchett has a chance to start here as an offensive tackle coming up in the spring. So that's why, in my opinion, he made that move to withdraw himself, remove his name from the portal, because somebody shared some wisdom with him. Hey, man, you may not need to be doing this because you got a chance at a real playing time coming up here next in the upcoming spring. But as always, Bama Nation, you want the best here in news, notes, information, material, entertainment. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app on the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there, folks. On Wednesday, you're in for a treat because the National Signing Day show returns with the man, the legend, the director of scouting and recruiting for TDA, Justin Smith, and yours truly will be hosting the National Signing Day show. So Wednesday, you want to tune in for that. As always, we got to shout out you, the Alabama football family. you, the fans, for all the calls today, the donations today, the conversations today, the energy today. It was good to be back. It was great to be back with all of you. That was fantastic. Gotta show some love to my man Eli Walker here in the production studio as well. Gotta show some love to my family. I had a great time being off last week. Ice skating with my wife and family. It was fun ice skating with my wife and family. It was great playing soccer today. My daughter Mariah, she might need to join the women's national soccer team at some point in her career as she gets older. But it was a great time having fun with my family. Sister-in-law came to visit. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Irish Clark. It was fantastic having her in. My mother-in-law, Miss Lucy. Brother-in-law, Josh. The family was great having them in here. But as always, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. As always, you protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.